miraculous.
But how was that possible? How did I
Well,
just
you
do that?
boil it, you filter it. That's what engineers know how to do, and that'll be in Africa.
With 30 young people in it may be just fine because their role in transmitting the disease, we'll understand in the next month or so. It may be so limited that you're far more liberal with young people getting together than you would be with a general age audience. Oh, it's sucking me out.
Oh, it's sucking me out. Oh, it's sucking me out.
Our partner, International Health Metrics and Evaluation, is looking at forecasts where they compare the different countries, and then that's helping us to understand, okay, which policies in which countries seem to be working. Try and figure out how to get this vaccine made. But people are rising to the occasion, but it's a very bad situation.
Zero money.
This is very unprecedented, and so although that model you mentioned looks like one of the more negative, the uncertainty is such that it's not out of the realm of possibility. Personally, did it again.
Personally, did it again. Personally, did it again.
300 million tests available, even if we're doing the right things. Believe this. But if it has the right sensitivity, we could have a scale up there. But unfortunately, that's probably 6 to 9 months before we'll have that type of at-home test. Right, Alex? To say, okay, this is the one to be afraid of. We don't understand enough about that. Condemnation. Strangely have to be at the state level. But the government is in the role here, and it has to design the system. And so in the case of testing, those companies aren't in a position to decide who should be tested and who shouldn't be tested. Those are societal priorities. So right now, it's fairly chaotic. And so smallpox is a very bad case because it's very infective and it kills like 30%. Here, fortunately, although there's still some uncertainty, the case fatality rate is something like 1%. Let's go free. See if you're missing something there. And our foundation, with partners in the Seattle area, actually has that going on. We took a flu study. Licensing. Who own those machines, run those machines. They'll step up. They'll work super hard. The clarity, though, has to come from the federal government. Who own those machines, run those machines. They'll step up. They'll work super hard. The clarity, though, has to come from the federal government. That manufacturing capacity is there, and certain elements of how you go through regulatory approval, because you're only changing one small piece. See, won't know.
See, swamps no.
like the flu does, is not very large, but that's not very easy to predict. There are people who've looked at that, maybe someday, but that's outside of our ability. And so we have to have the tools.
He was the little girl. He was the little girl. He was the little girl.
Take that vaccine out to the global population, and so that we have vast immunity.
Mid-side.
And so sadly, this is not a case where, I feel like, hey, I told you so. Because we didn't use that time when it was clear as the biggest threat to kill millions of people. And there we need to show them that until our capacity goes up a lot, they are going to have to wait. The worst thing we have is that if it takes you longer than 24 hours to get the test result, then you don't know, you haven't been told during the very key period where you're most infectious. The disease, to cut the deaths down. We're hopeful. Even though we'll end up picking at most 2 of them, we're going to fund factories for all 7. And just so that we don't waste time, and not associate in a way that we have exponential increase in these cases, that is the right thing, even though it's extremely painful. It's unheard of. And, there are particular businesses that it's catastrophic for. And so because our foundation has such deep expertise in infectious diseases, we've thought about the epidemic, we did fund some things. Every state is being forced to figure things out on their own, and it's very ad hoc. It's not like when a war comes and we've done 20 simulations. And do this social isolation. For developing countries, it's far harder. And so, will these measures actually stop it? Really? We can get that bootstrapped and get it going, and save months, because every month counts. Well, there isn't a choice where you get to say to people, don't pay attention to this epidemic. The idea you could keep it under control would, once you have a large number of cases, like the US does and many countries in Europe. Now, in developing countries, the ability to do lots of testing, to have the patients who have severe respiratory distress get treatment. And there we need to show them that until our capacity goes up a lot, they are going to have to wait.
Listen and my lordship. Listen and my lordship.
Well, there's two ways out. One is if we get miracle therapeutics that are greater than 95% cure rate. We can't count on that. And the other is a vaccine that's highly effective that we get out to the world population.
Beers look green. Beers look green. Beers look green.
Great
Give
talk.
our best to everybody else in the bunker.
Thank you. We can't.
We can't. We can't.
Because he was considering a commission to look into ill effects of vaccines, and somebody, his name is Robert Kennedy Jr., was advising him that vaccines were causing bad things, and I said, no, that's a dead end. That would be a bad thing. Don't do that. Epidemics don't respect borders, and so whether you're looking at this through a humanitarian lens or a purely domestic lens, I'm not trying to minimize that one at all, but I think they're less clear than from Ebola. Real celery.
Real celery. Real celery.
It's a pretty modest investment to avoid something that really, in terms of the human condition, would be a gigantic setback. And these must be over. I'm sorry.
And these must be over. I'm sorry. And these must be over. I'm sorry.
For a serious epidemic. An epidemic that would be more infectious and would spread faster than Ebola did. This is the greatest risk. You made it, Bennett.
You made it, Bennett. You made it, Bennett.
The Spanish press was the freest. They were the first to talk openly about it. And so in the annals of epidemic history, that's the big event. Advocates here.
Advocates here. Advocates here.
For a serious epidemic. An epidemic that would be more infectious and would spread faster than Ebola did. This is the greatest risk. Near disease.
Near disease. Near disease.
Into a widespread flu once in history. Well, that is Spanish flu. We have no idea where it came from. You're sick in the snow.
You're sick in the snow. You're sick in the snow.